I want to ask you guys, should LaVar Ball just focus on being a father?
Yeah, that would be great. He might have to read a book first about it.
Wow.
I mean, the man just said, I talked to him about basketball and Big Baller Brand.
Yeah.
Sounds like a business manager.
Yeah.
That sounds like an agent.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but
let you have that, Marcellus.
never shut up. Read my book. Let me say this. I think what he was saying is part of being a father. We got to respect the latitude of what a father is supposed to instill in his kid. And some of that, if not a lot of that, needs to be uncomfortable because it's more uncomfortable to face that in the real world. Now, what he's saying is fine as a father. How he's going to go about what he's saying is the issue. You have to hire smart people who are in that lane of business that can make the conversion of your image, your fame, and turn it into greater fortune. If not, just stay talking basketball because that's the best lane for Lonzo. If you're going to try to convert that into a business, you need to understand a lot more than just, hey, he's famous and we got T-shirts on. That was the failure for the first round. So I'm not mad at him as a father because I wish my father was one of experience to talk about more things, and two, deeper in those experiences so we can go uncomfortable into those moments. I wish I knew what a CPA was until I hired one. I wish I was in a situation trying to convert what I became into something greater for generational wealth. But my father, who's an amazing father, would only want to talk about the Cowboys, not even me playing football, the Cowboys and practical issues of day-to-day in terms of being a good person. Anything else, like, Dad, let's talk about girls. Oh, what do you want to talk about them for? Leave them alone. Like, I'm loving the fact that even if he makes a misstep, he is at least daring enough to go to those places.
One of the greatest lessons I've learned when it comes to being a parent is that it's not just what I say. It's as important that I listen as I speak. And this is what stuck out to me, is that he says, I talk to him about basketball and Big Baller Brand. Not I talk with him about basketball and Big Baller Brand. He doesn't care what Lonzo or LaMelo think. So he doesn't know where they're coming from. And we all saw it. We were all laughing. You saw the look on Lonzo's face. He can talk all he wants about the grand plans. It could be the greatest business plan ever. Lonzo's not having any of that. So the first thing you have to be able to do is communicate and open up a dialogue with your kids in order to get anywhere. That's clearly not what LaVar has right now. So whether he's going to be a father or not a father, he's got to figure out how to have a relationship one way or another with his kids.
Yeah, should his focus be on being a father? Is that the question? I say he doesn't have to solely, no, he does not have to solely
Is there something more important?
Is it more important? Yes, it is.
Is there something more important than being a
father? The first priority is to be a present and productive father. But does he have to limit himself to just being a father? I say no. And here's what I'll offer, and just a different perspective and a point of view. When I look at LaVar Ball, and I've done a lot of looking because I have to hear his name probably more than anybody else, all right? LaVar, right? So I've come to realize that he's only got really one entertaining son that doesn't come across as introverted, all right? And I look at LaMelo as he's the one that can carry a room or bring some personality. Lonzo is a quiet guy, unassuming. The real LaVar Ball, this is my assumption, the real LaVar Ball is a strong, steadfast dad. It's not present for us to see. It's not present for us to dissect and analyze. He does this purely for entertainment and brand building. And regardless of if you agree with it or if you disagree with it, he will carry their brand, and he carries it by trying to create a brand with the Big Baller Brand connected to it. They go with it. That's why they're all on the show. So I look at him as he does prioritize being a father. When he says things like, I talk to them about those things, I really think that the man has figured out a way to keep his personal life and business with his kids personal, and that's why they support him.
I'm sorry.
That's what I think.
I got it, but man, this show is fearless and it's about keeping it real. And we got to judge on the facts. Lonzo's looking at his dad like, man, I got to put up with this again. And to me, this is their level of support for, Dad, we're going to go along with your little Facebook show. But in terms of getting all our money all tied up in Big Baller Brand, that you really haven't demonstrated any any skill, expertise, anything, we're good. We're going to help you with your little Facebook show. We'll come on here and we'll put up with this. But I sit here, and I'm just keeping it real, and I'm not trying to beat up on LaVar. LaVar's probably well-intentioned, but my father was somewhat wealthy at some points and then flat on his ass broke at some point. And the number one things I remember are the little life lessons he taught me that didn't have a damn thing to do with athletics, didn't have a damn thing to do with much of anything, just taught me one of the number one stories, me and my dad sitting on a couch in our little 400 square foot apartment, walked me through why his best friend, who was James Slim Carruthers, one of the biggest players, ballers, wealthy guys in the hood in Indianapolis, wanted him to go to Vegas for a Tyson fight. And my father's like, nah, I ain't doing it because Slim Carruthers was gonna have to carry the financial weight. And my father he told me this story to tell you, he goes, there's a responsibility when you accept something from anybody. People always just think, oh, someone gave me something. And my father was like, no, there's a responsibility when you accept something, and I'm not letting this man carry me out to Mike Tyson in a Vegas fight on his dime. I'm gonna do for me, and if I can't do it, I ain't doing it.
But that's his dad.
No, that's his friend.
You're talking about his
I'm
friend.
talking about I'm talking about my dad, but I'm talking about the lessons. He told me this story, just me and him. I just listened to a man say, I talked to my son about basketball and Big Baller Brand, and it breaks my heart. This is not what young black men or any child needs from their father. Basketball and Big Baller Brand, there are so many things a father can impart to a child that I'm 52, and this conversation happened when I was 17. I think about it all the time when people offer me things and I say no, and people are like, why are you doing that? So there's a responsibility. And again, people don't understand that. It's like when a young lady gives you something that you desire, there's a responsibility that goes along with that. Be careful just accepting anything that's offered to you. I
understand that, but what you're saying is a different relationship, but let's find a common ground here. We can't make full assumption that this is the only way that he has conversation.
Take him at his word.
But no, you're taking him at his entertainment value.
The show.
And that could be shtick. And let's just be real about this. As you said, Rick, kids don't learn as much from what you say, but what you do.
Yes.
And LaVar, fortunately and unfortunately, only learned such a bandwidth by what he saw. And I know about that because I'm from the same neighborhood as him and his family. Now, what that means is we got to look at this situation and be smarter about it. We have to start to learn, hire people around you. Let's stop with this whole, let's have all of nothing instead of some of something. Smart people will come in and say, I need 10%. But guess what? You are going to be in a better position. But he's fighting that because basically where he's from, he's like, they only here to rob, and they only showed up when you became something. So the family got us here, the family will get us there. I'm here to tell him there are people you can trust that are more intelligent in the lanes that you want to go be a part of, but you got to trust in it. Until now, he didn't have this issue, but now he does. And if he doesn't employ better people, his son's going to keep looking at him side-eye.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.